Let's have a brief introduction to the set of principles proposed by Nation and McAllister in their book, Language Curriculum Design. So just bear in mind that this set of 20 principles could be used as a sort of checklist to see whether the course has useful and relevant input for the learners or not, right? Okay. So as you might recall, initially we have discussed like the principles have been divided into three main categories, and which are content and sequencing, format and presentation, and then monitoring and assessment, right? So let's have a brief look at the 20 principles, and then we're going to see the details afterwards. Okay, content and sequencing. Okay, the first principle is the frequency. I mean, whether the lexical items to be included are high frequency or low frequency, right? We've got strategies and autonomy, how to inculcate element or a spirit of independence among learners. So the content of the language course should be organized in such a way to make the learners creative and sensible, right? And then the spaced retrieval, and then we've got language system. I mean, to develop the language system to train students in 4 skills of language learning. Then keep moving forward, okay? To help learners to move on, I mean, to build on what already has been learned, okay? Then the teachability, and then the learning burden. I mean, just not to overload the learners, overburden them with too much information and interference. I mean, how first language interferes with the second language, for this matter, English, I mean, right? So this is a list of 8 principles under the main heading of content and sequencing. We will discuss these principles one by one in our later sessions, but the second main category is format and presentation. Within this category, we've got the first principle of motivation. I mean, the anxiety level, how we can address these issues. 4 strands of language learning. I mean, language input, meaning-focused input, meaning-focused output. We'll see these in detail. And then comprehensible input. Questions a basic idea of comprehend. We'll see this one in further length. And the fluency, the oral speech fluency, right? And the output, I mean, the outcome of the course. And then deliberate learning, how we can motivate learners to make their personal decisions about, language learning. And then time on task. I mean, to what extent we need time to finish a particular task in the language classroom, and the depth of processing, and then integrative motivation, which is very much, inherent to the language curriculum design, right? And then we've got the principle of learning style. As much as my information is concerned, like there is not like great sort of source of literature on learning styles, but we will see this principle in greater length in our later sessions. And then we've got the third category, which is monitoring and assessment. And this one, the first principle of monitoring, is ongoing needs and environment analysis. As you might remember, we've already taken a greater look at what means by the needs analysis, what our learner needs. And we've also seen the environment analysis, I mean, different variables, the learner factors, the adoption, the teacher, in institutional administration factors involved, right? And these different stakeholders and their involvement in terms of monitoring and assessing the outcome of a language program. And then we've got the principle of feedback. I mean, the feedback we as teachers give to the students. It could be both. It could be summative or formative, or a combination of both. So that's a brief introduction to the 20 principles we're going to look at in our topic of principles, and we'll see their practical significance in terms of, building a curriculum for language learners.